Imagine a world where your every move is tracked. Every step you take, every interaction you have is under constant surveillance. Every email, every phone call, every website you visit is recorded and analyzed. Your digital footprint is meticulously documented, creating a detailed profile of your life. This is the chilling reality that Edward Snowden, a former National Security Agency contractor, revealed to the world in 2013. His leaks unveiled the extent of government surveillance, shocking the global community. His actions sparked a global debate about privacy, security, and the limits of government power. People everywhere began to question how much of their personal information was being monitored and stored. Snowden's revelations sent shockwaves through the intelligence community and beyond, exposing the vast and often unchecked surveillance apparatus operating in the shadows. The sheer scale of the surveillance programs was unprecedented. Snowden's leaks exposed a world where the line between security and privacy had become dangerously blurred. The balance between protecting citizens and infringing on their rights was called into question. Governments, particularly the United States, were collecting vast amounts of data on their own citizens as well as foreign nationals. The scope of this data collection was both extensive and invasive. The extent of these programs was staggering, and the methods used to collect data were often invasive and secretive. The public was largely unaware of the depth of surveillance they were under. Snowden's actions brought these practices to light, forcing a long overdue conversation about the balance between security and freedom in the digital age. His disclosures made people more aware of the trade-offs between safety and privacy. The impact of Snowden's revelations was immediate and far-reaching. The world was forced to confront the reality of mass surveillance and its implications for personal freedom. Governments around the world scrambled to defend their actions, while privacy advocates hailed Snowden as a hero. The debate over surveillance and privacy reached new heights. The public was left grappling with the implications of living in a world where their every move could be monitored. People began to question the extent to which they were willing to sacrifice privacy for security. Snowden's leaks had shaken the foundations of the digital age, raising profound questions about the nature of privacy, security, and the role of government in the 21st century. The revelations prompted a re-evaluation of how data is collected and used. His disclosures triggered a global debate, forcing us to confront uncomfortable truths about the reach of government surveillance in the digital age. The conversation about privacy and security became more urgent and widespread. Snowden's actions were a watershed moment, exposing the hidden machinery of mass surveillance and its profound implications for democracy and individual liberty. His courage in revealing these secrets has left an indelible mark on the world. June 6, 2013 began like any other day. The sun rose over bustling cities and people went about their daily routines, unaware that the world was about to change forever. But by nightfall, the world would be grappling with revelations that exposed the depths of government surveillance, shaking the very foundations of trust between citizens and their governments. That day, The Guardian, a British newspaper, published the first in a series of explosive articles based on documents leaked by Edward Snowden, a former NSA contractor who had fled to Hong Kong. The articles detailed the NSA's PRISM program, which allowed the agency to collect data directly from the servers of major tech companies, including Google, Facebook, and Microsoft. This revelation was a bombshell, revealing the extent to which personal data was being accessed without public knowledge. The reaction to the PRISM revelations was swift and dramatic. Newsrooms around the world buzzed with activity as journalists scrambled to cover the unfolding story. Governments around the world, particularly the United States, were quick to defend their actions, claiming that the programs were necessary to prevent terrorism and protect national security. They argued that such measures were essential in a post-9/11 world. However, privacy advocates argued that the programs were overly broad and represented a serious infringement on civil liberties. They contended that the surveillance was a violation of fundamental rights and freedoms. The public was divided, with some expressing outrage at the government's actions and others supporting the need for surveillance in the name of security. Social media platforms became battlegrounds for heated debates. The Guardian's revelations sent shockwaves across the globe. People from different countries and cultures reacted with a mix of fear, anger, and disbelief. The idea that the U.S. government had access to such a vast trove of personal data was deeply unsettling to many. It raised questions about the extent of surveillance and the potential for abuse. The revelations sparked outrage and protests, with people demanding answers about the scope of the surveillance and the lack of transparency surrounding it. Demonstrations were held in major cities calling for greater accountability. Governments and intelligence agencies were forced to defend their actions, arguing that the programs were necessary to combat terrorism and protect national security. They insisted that the surveillance was conducted within legal frameworks. June 6, 2013, marked a turning point in the global debate about privacy and security in the digital age. It was a day that would be remembered for its profound impact on public consciousness. Snowden's leaks brought to light the vast and often secretive world of government surveillance, forcing a public reckoning with the trade-offs between security and freedom in the 21st century. His actions sparked a debate that transcended borders and ideologies. The revelation sparked a global conversation about the limits of government power in the digital age, a conversation that continues to this day. People everywhere began to question the balance between privacy and security and the role of technology in their lives. At the heart of Snowden's revelations was PRISM, a clandestine NSA program that granted the agency direct access to the servers of major U.S. tech companies. This access was not just limited to metadata, but extended to the actual content of communications, making it a powerful tool for surveillance. Through PRISM, the NSA could collect a treasure trove of personal data, including emails, chat logs, videos, photos, and even search histories. This vast amount of information provided the agency with unprecedented insight into the private lives of individuals. The program, shrouded in secrecy, bypassed traditional legal channels, allowing the NSA to gather data on a massive scale without obtaining individual warrants. This lack of oversight raised significant legal and ethical questions about the balance of power and the protection of civil liberties. PRISM's reach extended to some of the most popular online platforms, including Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, and Yahoo. These companies, often seen as guardians of user data, were now implicated in a global surveillance network. The program allowed the NSA to collect data in real time, capturing the digital footprints of millions of users worldwide. This real-time capability meant that the agency could monitor activities as they happened, providing a continuous stream of intelligence. The revelations about PRISM sent shockwaves through the tech industry, with companies denying knowledge of the program and emphasizing their commitment to user privacy. Public trust in these companies was severely shaken, leading to calls for greater transparency and accountability. The implications of PRISM were profound. The program effectively erased the line between private companies and government intelligence agencies, transforming tech giants into unwitting participants in mass surveillance. This collaboration blurred the boundaries of corporate responsibility and government overreach. The revelations raised serious concerns about the erosion of privacy in the digital age and the unchecked power of intelligence agencies. Citizens around the world began to question the extent to which their personal information was being monitored and stored. PRISM represented a significant expansion of government surveillance capabilities, enabling the NSA to collect data on an unprecedented scale. This expansion was seen by many as a dangerous precedent for future government actions. The program's exposure ignited a fierce debate about the balance between security and privacy, with governments arguing for the necessity of such programs to combat terrorism and protect national security, while privacy advocates condemned them as a gross violation of civil liberties. This debate highlighted the ongoing struggle to find a middle ground that ensures both safety and freedom. The debate continues to this day as societies grapple with the challenges of safeguarding privacy in an increasingly digital world. As technology evolves, so too does the conversation about how to protect individual rights while addressing security concerns. The legacy of PRISM serves as a reminder of the delicate balance that must be maintained in the digital age. PRISM was just one piece of a much larger puzzle. Snowden's leaks exposed a global surveillance apparatus of astonishing reach and sophistication. Through programs with names like MUSCULAR, XKeyscore, and UPSTREAM, the NSA and its allies, including the British intelligence agency GCHQ, were tapping into the backbone of the internet, intercepting vast quantities of data flowing through fiber optic cables and satellite links. The scope of these programs was staggering. The NSA was collecting data on foreign leaders, suspected terrorists, and ordinary citizens alike. The agency was also engaged in economic espionage, gathering information on foreign companies and governments to give American businesses an edge. The revelations about the NSA's global surveillance activities painted a chilling picture of a world where privacy was rapidly eroding. Snowden's leaks revealed a world where intelligence agencies were operating with little oversight or accountability. The programs he exposed operated in a legal gray area with little transparency or public debate about their scope or implications. The revelations sparked outrage and calls for reform, with privacy advocates arguing that such programs represented a fundamental threat to democracy and individual liberty. The global surveillance revelations had a profound impact on international relations. Governments around the world expressed anger and dismay at the extent of U.S. surveillance, particularly the targeting of foreign leaders. The revelations strained alliances and eroded trust in the U.S. government. Snowden's actions forced a reassessment of the balance between security and privacy on a global scale, prompting calls for greater transparency and accountability from intelligence agencies worldwide.